All right, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing our weekly review for this week's episode of The Walking Dead Season 11. This is now for episode 6. It is called On the Inside. Alright, and possible spoiler warning, if you guys have not seen this episode yet, you know the drill at this point. A week early on AMC premiere, and then the week after on regular AMC. So On the Inside. So this is the return episode for Connie for the Walking Dead. She has been gone because I think the actress was doing some Marvel movies, Eternals or something like that. I'm pretty sure. So now we're seeing Connie return in the Walking Dead. When did she leave? I want to say it was, I think, the mid-season mark, the cave stuff, the mid-season mark for The Walking Dead Season 10, which we have to remember we kind of lost a year there in between because of the shutdowns and everything, lockdowns and everything. And then there was the extended episodes, which she was not in. So really it's been, I guess, not quite 2 years, but a year and a half since she's been in the series. It doesn't feel like that long to me. Not that she's a character that I would be looking to watch every episode, but she was really good in this one. So we have a few groups of concentration in this episode, but mainly two, and then the group with Carol, Kelly, Rosita, and Magna. Kind of connecting, spoiler warning, at the end with Connie. So you see kind of the nice them being reunited, which I felt like, made this episode a lot better at the end. It was a great kind of reuniting scene between Kelly and Connie because they had been separated for so long and probably thought each other may be dead. And then in this episode, we see them reunited again in a very touching scene at the end. So in one group here, we get to kind of see what I would call sort of the House of Horrors in The Walking Dead, which is pretty cool. I just tend to think to myself, I bet they're trying to rack their head against the wall, trying to figure out how do we do new things with Walking Dead after there's been 200 episodes and, of the original plus all the stuff they've done with Fear over the years. They're probably trying very diligently to come up with new things that they haven't done before. And so they probably have to go down a list okay, we've done that, we've done the cave thing, we've done, the fire thing, we've done this, we've done that. And we don't want episodes to feel like ones that you've already seen before. We want them to be kind of new and novel. And in this one, I feel like they achieved that because they brought us kind of something different with Connie and with Virgil that has never been really touched in The Walking Dead, which is sort of like that horror, haunted house kind of feel or haunted house kind of vibe. If you guys have ever been to one of these, there's a lot of special attractions at different, amusement parks and things like that, where sometimes they'll have these older haunted houses that you can go into, and there's some pretty famous locations that you'll kind of go into, and they have hidden hollow walls and stuff like this where there's spots to kind of go in behind them, and an old school House of Horrors, but that's never really been used in an episode for Walking Dead. In this one, we actually get to see that with Connie and Virgil. And originally, I didn't really like Virgil. We saw him before with Michonne, and he kind of started off as a villain, and then sort of has kind of changed and morphed from that. I liked him a lot more in this episode, and because he's kind of helping Connie through as they're going through this House of Horrors, where you have these human, these creatures that are kind of human-esque, but they're sort of halfway between humans and zombies. They kind of walk around sort of on all fours, like they're something out of The Conjuring or something. And again, they play on the going into the walls, inside, and having poke holes to look through, and they sort of are really quiet and everything. And so they kind of, it feels like they hunt whatever kind of comes in. I do wonder all these years what they've been able to eat all this time. It does seem like they are, cannibals of some degree, and are very subhuman type of of creatures at this point. But I did like kind of the role switch here, the reversal, that Connie and Virgil kind of get stuck near the opening door for this kind of House of Horrors. And what Connie does in order to save them is she actually opens the door to allow a bunch of walkers in that in this instance actually save the group rather than being the thing they're afraid of. So, usually in Walking Dead and in zombie apocalypse movies or shows, they're trying to fight the zombies, they're trying to get away from the dead, they're trying to defeat them. In this instance, they actually use them to save them. So they're kind of, the dead are sort of their saviors against this group of, subhuman, House of Horrors people that are sort of kind of, going after them, in a predatory type of way, most likely for food. So that's pretty dark, and it is kind of one of the scarier episodes. They have brought some scary episodes recently. This one may be one of the more frightening types of episodes. It reminded me, I've been watching some old trailers recently because I did a What is a Zombie? The History of Zombies video. It's in the channel now. If you guys haven't seen it, you can watch it after this one. I'll put it at the end here for you. But they're in the trailer for Day of the Dead. I think Sarah is up near a wall, and there's a bunch of like walker hands or zombie hands that come through the wall to grab her. This is like an old Day of the Dead trailer from like the 80s, like mid 80s, where she goes up to this wall and all these zombie hands come through the wall to get her. And that's what this made me think of, just because I was doing that video just recently. But it was cool, man. It was pretty cool, and it adds another element to it because Connie is not able to speak, right? She's disabled, so she can't communicate. So when she's in the wall and you've got the hole through and she's trying to communicate with Virgil, that's her on the other side and not one of these subhuman creatures that are dwelling there. He almost kind of kills her accidentally as she's kind of coming through until he realizes that it's her. But because of her deal, she can't let him know from behind the wall that it is her. So that was a pretty good scene. I liked it and everything, and certainly I think it upped Connie a bit in this episode, and it upped Virgil a bit, because I was not a Virgil fan at all before. I didn't like him at all after the stuff with Michonne and the acid trip and all that stuff that he kind of made her go through and everything. So, but after this one, I feel like sympathize with him a lot, especially when he's getting like stabbed in the back by some of these crazy conjuring, half human, half zombie creatures. I did think that they were human almost from the start, though. I wonder if any of you guys were tricked. If you were, leave a comment below and let me know. When you first saw the eye through the peephole and that kind of stuff, watching them, did you think it was a walker, or did you kind of know right away that okay, these are actually people, but they look like walkers? Because when they're kind of coming at them and stuff, and kind of like trying to bite, I think they were trying to bite, one of them was trying to bite Virgil too. So they're sort of in between human and walkers, but they are more to the side of humans. They're not zombies just yet. However, after this is done, I think they've basically cleaned this location out. But the bones and stuff in the locked basement section was kind of scary too. There used to be these old, you can look up the history of some of these types of places where there would be these some of these old mansion type places that in certain locations, and they would like some like your old kind of crazy characters, which I guess they're human sorta, but they would have these different trap rooms and things like this where they would drain the oxygen out of the room so they could have a victim come into a certain spot and drain the oxygen out and stuff like this. On Halloween, usually there's guided tours of these types of locations if you guys are into that. I don't know if any of you guys are into haunted houses or not. I'm a little bit into them. I think they're kind of cool, but at the same time, it's kind of like when it's in real life, it's not. It's kind of more brutal. It's not so cool, right? So good stuff there. I liked everything in that location, and the payoff at the end was awesome. So the other section of what's going on in this episode here is the stuff with Daryl and Leah and the others. One of the guys' name is Carver. We find out in this episode, and we kind of get the sense that he's sort of like he's kind of like the Pope's number 2, I guess, or he's the Pope's one of the best soldiers the Pope has. So he's kind of going off with Daryl a little bit here, in that Daryl is kind of one of the guys that's with him, Daryl has to kind of save face and interrogate the guy in a pretty brutal scene with a knife and everything like that. That's a little bit hard to watch, but he does get the information out of the guy. And then after that, they go to the house that Maggie, Negan, Gabriel, and the others are at. And Daryl's able to sort of give them a heads up because he kind of waves a phone line or a power line. I guess power line most likely. And so Maggie's able to see it, and they're able to hide in time, and then they're kind of able to escape when the time is right. But you kind of have Daryl sort of playing, for them here to try to alert them, try to let them know, distract Carver, distract Leah, so they don't find Maggie and the others who have gone under the floor in to hide under a carpet, which Daryl kind of knows where they are almost right away, but he's able to kind of veer the others off in time enough so that they're able to escape and leave. So again, you have Daryl kind of playing both sides here, but we know that he is loyal to our survivors and to Maggie and all the others and everybody at Alexandria. So he helps them in being with the Pope and the others. I guess the best spot for him to be would be with the Pope and the others, and Leah, and maybe see if he can kind of save Leah and maybe defeat the others. They are pretty crazy. So there was the part about the fire and stuff like that, and Carver may be the one who's the most of a challenge for Daryl, it looks like. So you can see kind of a rivalry starting between them. But it was pretty exciting to see them under the floor. They're looking around, not sure if they're going to find them and everything. And also wasn't sure if Daryl was going to turncoat on them at some point here and, attack Carver. And then Leah would be like, what the hell? And then maybe Meg and the others could kind of get out of there or attack them and defeat them in that smaller group. So it was a good episode. It was scary. You got the Predator type theme for the Pope and the others, which I still like, kind of the Predator-esque type of music, intense at parts, and the House of Horrors was very scary and felt more like a straight horror episode than most of the episodes of Walking Dead that we see. Like that one felt like, you're watching The Conjuring, you're watching an actual horror movie, but it had a great payoff at the end. So I feel like it worked out well. So I'm going to give this episode a 9 out of 10. A little bit slow to start, but by the end, I think it's worth it. You get a nice payoff there, and something new with the House of Horrors. Pretty cool. Let me know what you guys think. And Connie is back in the show, which is good for people who like her and Kelly and the others. It's getting there. It's getting there. The thing is, the series is ending, so they were brought in a couple years ago. I'm starting to, care about their survival. I'm starting to want them to survive and to want them to be happy, but by the time we do, because it does take a little while, the series is going to be over at that point anyway. So, but it was a good one. And Virgil, I guess, sort of joins Alexandria, kind of. I guess he's earned it at this point. So leave your comments below. Let me know what you guys think. And if you like this video, please thumb it up below, subscribe at the bottom, and check out the What is a Zombie? The History of Zombies video. And I'll see you guys back in soon for another video. As always, this is Trev, and I'm saying peace later, guys. See you soon.